Yeah, I got asked in the comments on my last video if I could do a Percy Jackson tag. So that's what this video is going to be about. Sadly, I do not own a Camp Half-Blood t-shirt yet. I will be buying one, rest assured. But I haven't got around to it. It hasn't been in any stores, so I have to do it online. And when I have to buy something online, it always takes me a lot longer. Because I can't be bothered. Okay. So what I'm going to do is probably a little different to other videos you've seen on YouTube, because I got very frustrated when I looked up Percy Jackson tag questions and then Riordan tag questions and book tag, because they only ask questions about Percy Jackson and the Heroes of Olympus series. And I'm like, no, I love Riordan, I love all of his books, we're not forgetting the Kane Chronicles, Magnus Chase, or Trials of Apollo. So I am including those three in this as well, which means I will probably be bringing in additional questions because they just do not address this series enough. Like, I get Magnus Chase and Trials of Apollo are fairly new, so that's probably why they're excluded, but Kane Chronicles has been out a really long time, so you ain't got an excuse on that. That's just because it's his most underrated series, isn't it? You probably the person who invented it hadn't read it. Which is very sad, because the Kane Chronicles is amazing and worth the read. And seriously has the most unique end to a love triangle I've ever seen in a book. I mean, it worked, but it was just like, okay. Alright, so, question 1. Percy or Jason? I don't particularly like this question. I'm going to say Percy, but I do really like Jason, and okay. Spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert! Okay, you've been alerted. Because I am going to be spoiling these books, so if you haven't read all of the Riordan books, go away, go read them, then come back and we can discuss, okay? Because if you get spoiled, it's not my fault, I've warned you. Now, like I said, I say Percy, but I do adore Jason, and after what happened to Trials of Apollo, I feel bad. I'll say, because he deserved better. Okay, question 2. Annabeth or Raina? And again, I'm like, these are two amazing characters. Why are you making me choose between them? They're both wonderful. Maybe Annabeth, but I don't know. Because I feel like we didn't get to know Raina as Superman in Heroes of Olympus, but she becomes a main character in the 4th Trials of Apollo, and the more I learn, the more I'm like, I love you. So I'm just like, no, I don't like it. Camp Half-Blood or Camp Jupiter? Okay, that's pretty easy for me, Camp Half-Blood, because Camp Jupiter, as much as I like it, seems very structured. I'm not into very structured things. It seems like the type of camp that would want me to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go running. I'm good. If you could be Praetor, would you? No. I wouldn't be Praetor, because that is far too much responsibility. You have to be in charge of everyone in camp and think about what they need to do. I'm like, I can barely cope taking charge of myself. Like, it's 2:30 in the afternoon. I still haven't had lunch. You expect me to worry about if everyone else has had lunch? It's not gonna work. I mean, I love people, but I can't lead them. I can barely lead myself. Question 5. Bro OTPs from the series. Okay, so I'm assuming this just means friendships, because it doesn't have the question friendships and not just exclusively between guys. And I'm just gonna say all of them. I know that sounds like a cop-out, but I love all of the friendships. Like, the friendship that develops between Grover and Percy, the friendship between the 7, they become like a family. It's a true bond, especially when it's awkward at first, because particularly between Hazel, Leo, and Frank, because Leo looks like his ancestor, and Hazel doesn't know how to handle it, and Frank's all jealous, and it's like, ugh. But it works out, and they all become really good friends, and you're just like, Favorite side character? Okay, I have quite a few. This person has said Bob, and I'm going to agree with that. Bob is amazing, and little Little Bob, the kitten, I think it was called. But equally, Sally Jackson, I would say, is a side character, and I love Sally Jackson. She is an amazing woman. And I loved Charles Beckendorf and Selena Beauregard. I was so sad when we found out she was the spy all along. But then she came good and sacrificed herself, and I'm like, if they did fight each other in Elysium, we're gonna have issues, Hades. We will have issues. But just so many amazing side characters, to be honest. Like, in the Kane Chronicles, you get all of those magicians that they help, and I love each and every one of them. I'm struggling to remember their names right now, but there was this one kid who loved penguins. Penguins! Like, he literally just learnt the magic to summon penguins because he loves penguins. How can you not love that kid? Okay, favorite main character. Okay, you see, this changed a lot for me. Like, in the first series, it was Percy. In Heroes of Olympus, it was Leo. In Magnus Chase, it was Magnus Chase. In the Kane Chronicles, it was Sadie Kane. I thought she was fabulous. And in Trials of Apollo, I think it's actually Apollo. You can see a repetition here. It's usually a guy and often the main character. But that's just how well Rick Riordan does his characters. They're amazing, and I end up adoring them. And don't get me wrong, I adore the girls as well. It's just, okay, with Magnus and Percy, there's a little bit of a cop-out with that. They can understand animals, and I think that's fabulous. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, there's a scene with Magnus after he's awakened this ability, and he's like falling down a hill, and all he's hearing is the birds chirping, going, "My tree, my tree, my tree!" And he's just like, great, I can hear birds now, but all they jabber about is their trees. But also Alex Fierro in that series comes a very close second for me. They're amazing. I just love everyone. All of Floor 9, was it? I can't remember what floor, but Floor 19, actually, I think it might have been. But all of them were just... Okay, least favorite side character. This person's put Octavian, and I kind of want to piggyback on that and just go Octavian. Dude was an idiot. And at first, I kind of shipped him with Rachel because I thought she could show him the error of his fortune-telling ways, but no. Rachel deserves better than that demented jackass. But there's other side characters. Like, we meet so many that I'm just like, really? Really, what are you doing? Like, honestly, all of the monsters drive me nuts. Like, the one that's like a Echidna or something. The mother of monsters. I'm like, well, you're a bad mother. And the gods, to be honest. Least favorite main character. If we're counting the bad guys in this, then Gaia and... Oh, what was his name? The Titan that possessed Luke, the main Titan, the one no one likes. I've forgotten. It's been so long since I've read the main Percy Jackson books. I've really forgotten what on earth his name is. Friggin'... What is it? Kronos. That's it. Kronos. And then Magnus Chase with Loki, and I'm just like, Make Marvel Loki look like a saint. Ugh. Okay, who would your male Greek or Roman godly parent be? Apollo? I mean, I want to be a nurse, so medicine? Also, I like Apollo now, so. Who would your female Greek or Roman godly parent be? I think I discussed this with a mate once, and we're like, Athena, because I'm a Ravenclaw through and through, and I love studying and planning and learning. Okay, I don't love studying, but I love learning. Question 12. Favorite ship from the book series? Percebeth. But honestly, I love all of the ships he's created. They're just done so well and so beautifully that I'm like, how do you do this? They're amazing! Like, when Leo and Calypso first started to happen, I was like, really? But then he made it work, and I was just like, I ship this! Please! Then we see them in the second Trials of Apollo, and I'm like, yay! My boy is happy! And Calypso got off the island at last. Okay. Question 13, 14, and 15 are rate the characters and books, and I can't do that, to be honest. I can't. It's like if you try and ask me to rate my favorite Harry Potter characters, I can give you the top 3, then after that, characters start tying for places. So, I can't. I'm sorry. And there was another one that cropped up as well, which is by the Writing Hufflepuff, this one. What is your fatal flaw when it comes to books? I often skip the romantic sections. Like, okay, when I was first reading that, and to be honest, even now, when I read that, and there's just Jace and Clary blathering on about their feelings for one another, or they're having a moment, I'm like, great, you've kissed. Can we get on with the story? What's Valentine doing? We need to stop him! So, it's a bad habit, basically, with all the books I read. Like, as much as I ship things, it happens less, I notice, with Percy Jackson, because he just does the ship so well that I'm really rooting for them. But in other books, I've noticed it happen as well, where I'm like, yeah, you like each other. Can we move on? So, it is a bad habit of mine. And it happens in fanfiction, too. Like, I'll deliberately go looking for a fanfiction of a particular couple, but then I'll get so invested in the story that I'll stop caring about whether the couple gets together. And I'm like, okay, are you getting together? No? Okay, can we move on? We've got a war going on here. Unless it's, like, deliberately just centered on the relationship, then I'll just probably skip the smut scenes. Because I'm not in the right mood to read those. And most of the time it just feels unhygienic. I'm like, I'm pretty sure you haven't showered. We'll get into my discussion about those sorts of things some other day. But, yeah, I tend to skip that sort of stuff. Because as much as I ship things and I can enjoy a good romantic thing, I don't like it being the center of something. Hence why I hate romantic comedies. So I have a bad habit of skipping. Okay, the Hestia on your bookshelves. A book I feel is unappreciated. Okay, well, the Kane Chronicles. If we're just doing Riordan books, read the Kane Chronicles, okay? This series is beautiful and amazing and wonderful. Do not leave the Kane Chronicles. Okay? Don't leave them. They're wonderful. And I love that he's done, like, crossovers with the other ones. Those are one of my favorite reads, you know, demigods and magicians. And they meet each other, and I'm like, yes! Now I just need you to meet everyone. But another one I could say, Rowan of Rin by Emily Rodda. Though any Emily Rodda book outside of Australia, to be honest, if you're Australian, you grew up with this, you know it, you love it, you read it. If you're outside of Australia, and I can say this because I lived outside of Australia for 10 years, and I ask people, because often when I talk to people, we get onto the topic of books. Have you read the Del Toro Quest series or Rowan of Rin? And they're like, oh no. Read them, they're amazing. And yes, they're meant for children, but they're still good when you're older. Very important life lessons, chief of which is pay attention to history or you're doomed to repeat it, which I think is a very important lesson. Okay. Oh no, Hades is wearing his boo cap. A book that scared you. Know this one. Okay. Now, the Gordon series definitely disturbed me and scared me a fair bit, especially Plague. This one terrified me. This is Ice Station by Matthew Riley. At some point I'll do a book talk for this, but this terrified the crap out of me. Because something you gotta know about me is I have thing about the ocean. I respect it. I think it's beautiful. We need to treat it better. But don't put me in it. It's the great unknown. I am not a strong swimmer. If humans were meant to go in water, God would have given us gills. And as the name implies, ice station, they go to a station in Antarctica. And I won't say why or how, because this isn't the book talk, but at one point someone starts throwing explosives around in a station that is half made out of ice. Yeah, you can imagine how well that went. Also, there's killer whales. Those things are terrifying. So, yeah, I had to put it down several times. Rant at my dad, because he got me to read it. Matthew Riley is another Australian author, so if you're Australian, you've probably heard of him. And rant at my dad just about the sheer stupidity shown by so many characters in that book. Okay, to the Zeus Cave! Your favourite spot to read. My bedroom! I love reading in my room. But also a comfy armchair will work. Or a tree. If I find a good tree, I'll read in a tree. Sadly, there's not many in where I live. Or any at all. A book you'd fall into Tartarus to get your hands on. J.K. Rowling finally came out with a proper history of magic for just Harry Potter and not the worldwide. I would jump into Tartarus to get my hands on that. Or just any book off my wish list, really. Because I'm assuming it means it comes free then. Rick Riordan is the sass master. What's the sassiest book you've read? Honestly, I think I've got to give it to Rick Riordan here. Like, Harry Potter has some definite sass in him. Like, oof. Did you feel that burn, Malfoy? But, yeah, Percy's just so sassy and I love it. And not just Percy, so many of the characters. Like, they're all brilliant and sassy and I'm just like, eee! So, yeah, I think they're the sassiest. Who absolutely cannot die? Okay, after reading Trials of Apollo, I'm just gonna say it. Anyone else in the entire series? That's good. Okay, the bad guys can go die in a hole. But if another one of the 7 dies, I'll link my book talk to the 4th Trials of Apollo book somewhere at the end of this video, probably about here. But it was a river of worry and tears at one point, because I thought after losing Jason, we were going to lose Frank. And I was like, no! And Apollo was the same way. He's like, no! Frank! And I was just like, Apollo! Where's your body? And he got so mad that he just did one of the most badass things I've ever seen. He literally hit a note so high, he turned his opponent to ash. Bam! Said the lady. And he was also dying as well. And I'm like, Apollo, no, you can't die. You're the main character, please. Apollo! Step out of it. His sister turned up and then saved him. I'm like, it took you long enough, Artemis. A second later and it would have been too late. But fortunately Frank wasn't dead, but I was still just like, that was too close, Rick. That was too close. If I lose anyone else, I don't think I'm going to cope. Okay, because we already had the funeral scene for Jason in that book. I'm already tearing up. No one else can die, okay? Please. One event has to happen. I would really love it if we could see a Percabeth wedding. I mean, they're 18 now, I think, or in their 20s. They're around that age. They can get married. Come on, let's have a Percabeth wedding. Some joy after all this misery. Favorite minor character? Okay, I feel like I've already answered this, but also this blog brings up a good point. I love many minor characters, but often a main character can become a minor character. Like, so many people forget Grover was a main character because of how minor he becomes later on. Like, when he returned to us in the 3rd Trials of Apollo as a main character, I was like, my boy, I've missed you. I've missed you. I've missed you. So, yeah, just Thalia? No, she was the main character in the third book, wasn't she? Okay, favorite book in the entire series? I don't have one. They're all fabulous. Every Riordan book is brilliant. Your favorite and least favorite god? Okay, my favorite, Hephaestus or Apollo? Least favorite? Oh, it's a joint tie for last. Zeus and Hera. Yeah, I said it. Zeus and Hera, the worst parents in the entire planet. Okay, I am so thankful my god is nothing like them because... And Hera always puts the blame on the kids and never punishes her husband for being the one that cheated on her. The kids had nothing to do with it, you idiot woman! Stop blaming them! Stop it! Oh, and Zeus, do not get me started on that man with his serial cheating and not helping his kids. Jason deserved better. You could have done something. So, yeah, they're firmly down at the bottom for me. Godly parent, again, my friend reckoned it would probably be Athena. Not going to disagree. How important are the books to you and why? They're very important. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and I go to them whenever I need a pick-me-up. It's them and Rowan of Rin, because they're just so pleasant. Like, they're funny and they're generally happy. I'm not saying bad things don't happen. Obviously, bad things happen, but they're a really enjoyable read and a light read, but also he just modernized it so much, and I have fun just spotting the references. Like, Taylor Swift kept cropping up at Magnus Chase, and I was like, hey! Or when he's like, Thor did not look like the movie Thor. And I'm like, hey! You watch Marvel! Woo! So, yeah, just all of his modern colloquialisms, I think he's done it brilliantly. And also there's an awesome moment in Magnus Chase that I absolutely adore where it's like they're explaining why they don't use AD and BCE like we use. And it's like, oh, because Thor challenged Jesus to a duel and he never turned up and Thor took offense. Thor challenged Jesus to a duel. That is brilliant! Okay. A message to Uncle Rick. Thank you so much for writing these books. They've always been a bright spot for me. I'm very sad they'll be coming to an end. I think you've got 2 more books in the works. The Final Trials of Apollo and that Camp Jupiter book. And then I think it's ending, sadly. But thank you so much for writing these, and they're brilliant and wonderful. And just thank you so much. They've helped so many people. Because something else Uncle Rick does is representation. It's done so well. Like, it developed throughout the series as he was able to write it in more. Like, we found out Nico was gay, and then Alex Fierro is transgender, literally. She's not transgender, sorry. She's gender fluid, can literally change between them because they're a child of Loki. And just all of those sorts of things was wonderful. And even like stuff like homelessness got touched upon. And just all these important issues you worked into your stories. It's beautiful and wonderful. And thank you so much for doing it. And it says tag at least 5 other demigods, but I don't know anyone. If you watch this video and you want to do it, just do it. Okay, a couple of questions I felt were not touched enough. Okay, so, not questions, things that were not touched enough. Please read the Kane Chronicles. They are wonderful and amazing, and you will really enjoy them. And what's really nice about it is the 2 main characters are siblings, so it's not focusing on a romance. There's definitely romance in it, if that's what your cup of tea is. But it's not like with Percy Jackson when you got Percy and Annabeth and you're waiting for them to get together. No, you just get a sibling bond repairing itself and them just growing to be a true brother and sister, and just, it's really, really cool. And the magic system he worked out in it, and it's awesome. And something that he's done in this world that I'm hoping comes together somehow in the final Apollo book, or he writes a third book just with it all coming together, because at this point, Annabeth and Percy both know for a fact that there's the Greek gods and their Roman aspects, the Egyptian gods, and the Viking gods all living in the same world. So I want that to go somewhere, just please. That would be brilliant. And yeah, it's just a really, really good... All of it together is really, really good. Don't skip any of the books. Even like these little ones that most people wouldn't consider worth a waste of time, they're brilliant. They help explain things to you, but also they give you short stories and it's always fun. And this one is really fun because they do explain things, but there's comments between Sadie and Carter, and you can feel like the sibling bond because they get into arguments with each other, or they make comments like, oh, Carter wouldn't like this. Or Carter wanted me to explain this in more depth, because Carter's basically the studious, serious one, and Sadie is the more relaxed, fun one. But they're both awesome. Both awesome. And so many other characters in this, so yeah. But yeah, just read all of them. Like, if you love Magnus Chase, don't skip the 9 Worlds. 9 Worlds is awesome. 9 from the 9 Worlds. Yeah, don't skip them. Don't skip any of the middle books. Don't skip the Demigod Diaries. Don't skip the Survival Guides or the Camp Half-Blood Essentials. Just don't skip any of them. They're all good and they're all amazing. And also, don't skip Percy Jackson's Greek Gods or Percy Jackson's Greek Heroes. This is one of my go-to books to read just when I want to cheer myself up. Something Riordan does so well is chapter titles, and they just make you happy and want to laugh. I've even got the audiobook for this, despite my issues with the audiobooks. But it's like the beginning and stuff. The golden age of cannibalism. The Olympians bash some heads. Zeus X'd out. Hestia chooses Bachelor number 0. Just all those sorts of titles, and the way he's modernized it so you can understand it. And he does say at the beginning, if this isn't the myth you know, it's because there's so many different versions of the myths. So calm down. Just, yeah. Don't skip those books either. They're a really good read. I adore them. And, yeah. I really love Rick Riordan's world and the stories he's read. I'm trying to reread the first Percy Jackson. I'm highlighting everything and putting in tabs. So it's going to look very, very busy by the end of it, because I discovered this as a kid when I tried to study, but I'm very bad at highlighting because I'll highlight things that I think are important and I end up highlighting most things. So it's going to be very colourful by the end of it. And I hope you love this series as much as I have. And I hope they eventually do it justice, because the movies did not. So, make a cartoon, make a TV show, I don't care which. Get the ages right, and follow the story. Like, make it like HBO. Game of Thrones, that was actually pretty accurate. Like, obviously they missed some things, but it was doing pretty well. Until you got to season 8. If you like Game of Thrones but haven't watched it yet for whatever reason, don't watch it. You'll make yourself very sad. Go to fanfiction instead. They do better versions of Season 8. Anyway, that got off topic fast. But basically, I hope they do one day do it justice. And maybe redo the audiobooks with a different audio reader, because it's a very strong American accent and not how I pictured Percy. Like, I watch a lot of American TV and American YouTubers, so I don't have a problem with American accents. It's just this one that sounds like it's from, like, the heart of America. And it's as strong as it can possibly be. And I'm like, this is not how I pictured Percy. He's from Boston. He doesn't sound like this. He's from Boston. Or New York. He's from... Boston's in New York, isn't it? He's from New York. I know that much. And New Yorkers, as far as I know, do not sound like that audiobook readers. So just, please fix that. Thank you. They recently redid the edit for the graphic novels, which is brilliant. I haven't got the new one yet. I will buy it and I can show you in a different video the comparison to the old one, because the old one is crap. I mean, I still have it, but it's crap. Graphic novel artistry is a very give and take. Alex Rider and Artemis Fowl got brilliant ones. Percy Jackson did not. The first time round. I can't pass judgment on the second one yet. Okay, this video has officially reached 30 minutes long, like my last video, but I knew it was going to be that long because this is something I utterly adore, like fanfiction. So I really hope you enjoyed this. Leave a like or a comment, or maybe even subscribe. And yeah, let me know who your favourite Percy Jackson character is, or which Percy Jackson series is your favourite. I personally want to say Magnus Chase, but I love all of them. Don't make me choose between my babies. And yeah, just let me know your thoughts on the series or anything I've said in this video, and maybe we can get a conversation going. Okay, that's really it for this video. It was really fun doing this, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!